Hello, my fellow retirees, and welcome to part 2 of my 3-part series on why we are fat. In part 1, I discussed several things that contributed to us being fat. I also said in part 1 that in part 2, I would tell you exactly why we are fat. In part 3, I will present a list of items that will help you either work around or work with those things that contribute to us being fat. However, right now I bet you're wondering, what is it that makes us fat? He said he'd tell us, but he's stalling. Well, I'm not stalling. What makes us fat is we have a disease. And that disease is called, wait for it, obesity. Obesity is the disease, and it's why we are fat. I know, you were expecting more. However, obesity is the disease. But what's causing that disease? Another disease or a condition called insulin resistance. Your doctor may not have told you that you're insulin resistant, and because of that, your blood glucose is up. And because your blood glucose is up, you're storing more fat. In a separate video, I'm going to present a lifestyle that should not only help you lose weight, but also improve the insulin resistance that you have. And once that's taken care of, you'll see that you'll start losing weight. In part 1, one of the last things I talked about was how family, friends, and co-workers encourage you to eat things that are not quite healthy for you. I also posed a question, and that question was, what are you going to be doing while they're out having fun, enjoying life, eating, drinking, all the unhealthy things that you used to eat, while you're sitting home recovering from obesity-related illnesses or even surgeries. I'm going to leave it there for now and continue with the list of things that contribute to us being fat. Another thing that makes us fat is the food industry. I'm going to break that food industry down into 2 parts. One is fast food industry, the other is the food or grocery industry, the local supermarket. People make fun of fast food. They even call it junk food. Some say it's not nutritious. However, fast food is nutritious. In fact, some people live on it. However, if you're surviving mainly on junk food or fast food, that's fine when you're young, healthy, fit, and fairly active. But as we mature, we tend to put on more weight and we get more sedentary. And as we get more sedentary, the weight begins to pile on, we become obese, our blood pressure goes up, and along with that we become diabetic, and next thing you know, we're shooting ourselves with insulin, taking metformin, trying to do things to also regulate our blood pressure. These are things that can more than likely be avoided. What's really sad is that the fast food industry wants us to eat their greasy, fatty, overly processed food. And why not? They're in a business to make a profit. for themselves and their shareholders. But if it's going to cost you a trip to the hospital, getting sick, and not being able to enjoy life, they're okay with that. In fact, you've already paid them to make you unhealthy. Then you're going to pay the hospital. Everybody's getting paid except for you. You're sitting home, recovering, trying to regulate things that you really shouldn't have to be overly concerned with. So if it's going to cost you a trip to the hospital, getting sick, not being able to enjoy life, so what? They'll just move on to the next victim. Get that person unhealthy, that person will go to the hospital, get sick, whatever, and it's just a vicious cycle, but they're still making money. Now, don't get me wrong, fast food tastes great. I actually love it. But on the other hand, I know it's not healthy for me. So I avoid eating it or eat it very little. Now let me move on to the grocery industry, the supermarket. They're not any better. When you go down the center aisles of a supermarket, what do you find? Fast food, overly processed food. Basically, it's junk food in a box or a can. The next time you're in a supermarket, pick up a box and look at what's in it. In addition to the ingredients, you'll start to see a list of chemical names that are so long, most of us can't pronounce them. They've added this, they've added that. We shouldn't have to have it added. It should be already in our food. Now, just like junk food or fast food, the food in the center aisle is overly processed. Some we have to rehydrate it to even eat it. But this food tastes great and it's designed to even look great. That's an advantage of the grocery industry over the fast food industry. They hand us a burger and it's just in a plain yellow wrapper or white wrapper or blue wrapper. But the food in the center aisle of the supermarket is designed by marketing geniuses. I mean, it looks really good, but it's just not healthy for us. It looks good, it tastes great, and it gets those dopamines going. And that's the perfect word for it, dopamines. Because like true addicts, we go to the supermarket looking for that dope. And the supermarket is like the pusher. They're selling us the dope. We're getting unhealthy. They're making profit. The doctors are making a profit. And Big Pharma is making a profit. Everybody's getting something out of it. Except what you're getting is unhealthy. Now to add insult to injury, a lot of these companies that are selling us the addictive foods have decided, through their marketing geniuses, they've decided to list things as no sugar, low calorie, no fat. They've come up with lots of names for it, yet it amounts to the same thing. It's overly processed food. And overly processed food, as I've said before, is not good for us. These overly processed foods are ultimately designed to do one thing, and that is to separate you from your hard-earned money to keep you addicted so they can continue to make a profit. Another thing that contributes to obesity is our overall health. And that's why in part one, I suggested that before you decide to start an exercise or diet program, you talk to your doctor. Your doctor can let you know that there's an underlying condition that is contributing to you being fat. And by the way, in another video, I'm going to show you the lifestyle that worked for me. I believe I mentioned this early on. With the help of your doctor, you need to determine what works best for you, what works best for your body, what works best with your lifestyle. Otherwise, you're never going to lose weight and maintain that weight loss. Another thing that contributes to us being fat comes as naturally for us as eating. And that's growing old. As we begin to age, we begin to lose our balance, our coordination, our muscle, and we begin to put on weight because we get more sedentary. But unless there's an underlying medical condition, even though we're getting old, we're making a choice. And that choice is not to move and to continue to eat. Because getting old doesn't mean you have to be fat. Growing old also doesn't mean that you have to lose muscle. The other thing that's keeping us fat is a pet peeve of mine, and that's the weight loss industry. Although the weight loss industry is a pet peeve of mine, I'm going to wait until part 3 to talk about them. I'm going to split the weight loss industry into 2 parts. The ones that are driven purely by profit and the ones that actually care about their clients. Until then, be safe, get healthy, get fit, and most of all, regain your independence.